What it is, what it do. I'm A1, this is Destiny, and I'm sure a lot of you already know by now how you can get the first loot box solo. But I'm going to quickly show how you can get it in this video for those of you who haven't. And I'm also going to show you how you can solo the entire first part of the Crota's End raid. Now unfortunately you're going to have a hunter in order to use the method in this video. I haven't tried to solo it with a Warlock or a Titan yet, but if y'all would like to see me try it with one of those two classes, then let me know in the comments and I may give it a go. I'm not exactly sure why I chose to use the Hunter, but it's a good thing I did because I'm not exactly sure if it can be done with one of the other two classes. Anyways, we were playing the Crota's End raid last night with a full lobby, and we had like a level 28 and a level 29, so we weren't really expecting to go far in the raid. We was just trying to get that first loot box and maybe try out the first part. But then we had somebody drop and we had another friend join, and he ended up leaving all of us behind. So we had to slow walk all the way to the end, but he did end up activating the bridge, but he ended up dying before he got across the bridge. And then he kept saying, oh, I soloed it. I soloed the first part. And I'm thinking, dude, there's 5 of us here with you, and you died before you got across the bridge. So you didn't really solo it. But it got me thinking, and big thanks to him for getting me thinking, could the first part really be soloed? So me being the scientist that I am, decided to do a little experiment and see if it could. And it turns out that yes, it can be soloed. Now like I said earlier, you're going to have to use a hunter in order to use the method in this video. So my apologies to all the Warlocks and Titans out there. Like I said, if you want me to try to use one of those other classes, let me know in the comments and I may give it a try. But before we get into soloing the first part, like I said, I did want to show y'all this first box. The first thing you want to do is head over here to the left and then walk forward a little bit, and you'll see a door on the wall to your left. And it's not guaranteed that a loot box will spawn there every single time. So if there isn't a loot box there, you're going to have to jump off, kill yourself in the game, not in real life. But you're going to have to kill yourself, respawn, and then you repeat the whole process again. And eventually, the box will appear in this little room over here off to the left. So as soon as you get here, walk over to the left, look for the loot box. If you don't see it, kill yourself. And then when you respawn, walk over to the left and look in there again. Super easy. Like I said, I know a lot of y'all probably already know how to do that. But I did want to show that for the people who don't know. Alright, so before we get into the gameplay, I do want to show y'all the kind of setup that you want to use. The first and probably most important thing is that you want to have armor that has a lot of strength, because you're going to end up using your melee a lot in order to get through this first part solo. So you definitely want to put on some armor that has some strength to it, and you can also have some intellect as well. You don't really need discipline because we're not going to be throwing any grenades, and you don't even have to worry about your weapons because we're not going to be shooting anybody either. Alright, now when it comes to your subclass, you're going to want to use the Blade Dancer. The first perk that you definitely must have is the Stalker perk, and that lets you gain invisibility after crouching in place for a short time. You're definitely going to need this one. Now the second attribute that you're going to want to use is the Shadow Jack, which increases the duration of invisibility effects. So it lets you stay invisible longer, which will help you get through this first part. Now I'm not exactly sure if you need to increase your agility to the full max, but I did and it seemed to work for me, so you may want to do that as well. And the next ability that you must have, you're definitely going to need this one, is the Escape Artist. And what this allows you to do is every time you melee an enemy, it'll make you go invisible as well. So you're definitely going to need the Escape Artist. And the last perk that you need is Vanish. And basically what this does is, when you use your super ability, it gives you the option to go invisible as well. So that's 3 different ways you can go invisible. But we're not really going to be using this Vanish ability that much. We're only going to be using it once, and that's at the end. Anyways, that's pretty much the whole class setup that you want to use in order to solo the first part of this raid. Now, if you've never played the raid, or if you don't know anything about it, basically for this first part, you'll have a weight of darkness added to you whenever you're in the dark. And the weight of darkness can go up to times 10. And when it goes up to 10, you'll feel extremely heavy. You'll run slow. You won't be able to jump as high. And again, the heaviness increases the longer you stay in the dark. So your whole objective is to run through this entire first part until you get to the bridge. And you want to stop at each of these lights, not for too long, but long enough to get the weight of darkness down to at least times 2 or times 3. If you can get it down that low, you can go ahead and run off to the next light. Anyways, once you've made it to the end, you'll then have to activate a bridge and survive a horde of enemies until the bridge is fully activated, and then you'll have to run across. And once you've ran across the bridge, you'll be able to get that second raid loot drop. Alright, so if you haven't noticed by now, we're not killing any enemies, and we're basically trying to stay invisible as long as we can. And the method I'm using to stay invisible is to switch between crouching and meleeing. So at each light, you're going to either do a crouch or you're going to do a melee. And if you have melee fully invested, you should be able to do a melee at every other light. So in order to get past this part, basically what you do is you run up to the light, you crouch in order to go invisible, you wait a couple seconds till your weight goes down, then run to the next light, melee the first enemy you see to go invisible, wait a couple seconds to get your weight down, then run to the next light, and repeat the whole process over again. So basically it's switching between melee and crouching, melee and crouching. And if you use this method, you'll be able to get all the way to the bridge solo. Now you can use your super ability if you need to, if there's an emergency or if there's too many enemies on you, you can't melee or you can't crouch. You can use your super ability, but I would prefer to wait until the end because there are a lot of enemies at the end and you're going to have the weight of darkness on you. So in my opinion, it's good to save your super ability for the very end. Anyways, that's my method for soloing the first part of the Crota's End raid. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, don't forget to do what you do. I'm A1, thanks for watching. Another thing before I go, if y'all want to see me solo this bridge part, yeah, I said it. If y'all want to see me solo this bridge part, let me know in the comments, and we'll see if I can make it happen. To those of you who've tried this bridge part, don't say nothing. But to everybody else, if you want to see me solo this bridge part, let me know in the comments, and I'll make it happen.